Within a mobile suit, there are many key details and important bits, from the hands that hold the weapons to the legs that keep the thing up. Some more important and interesting than others. But today, let's highlight a odd component found in not all mobile suits, really only a handful, but such an interesting feature that we have to talk about it. And that's the core fighter, a fighter jet and mobile suit cockpit in one. So here comes Project Victory, the Federation's attempt on mobile suits. Here they developed 3 machines, the gun cannon, gun tank, and Gundam. They were radically different from Zeon's machines, performance, weapons, technology, but especially the cockpit. For you would think it would be a simple built-in compartment inside the machine, which yeah, it is for the Zaku. But the feds had another idea. Introducing the FF-X7 Core Fighter, a fighter craft. It's got missiles, Vulcans, flies around, nothing new to the Federation. They had them before, like the Tin Cod, which is what this guy's based off, but he's got a neat little trick. The Core Fighter can fold in on itself and become the core block, and this here is the cockpit for the Project V mobile suits. The core block system would allow select machines, mobile suits in this case, be operated through a separate unit that combines with it. The core fighter turns into the core block and goes in between the top and bottom half of the Gundam, gun cannon, or gun tank. And before someone asks, I have no idea if you can mix and match. Please don't try to use the gun tank legs with the Gundam, or vice versa. You'll probably be executed. Anywho, a universal cockpit sounds like a solid idea. While each machine might not move the same, it's the same controls, making it easier on the user. It also adds safety. The core block has an eject feature, and if in a pickle, can not only save the pilot, but more importantly, save precious info like combat data. The eject feature also looks very goofy, and definitely much harder to achieve under gravity. But it works, somehow, saving lives and irreplaceable data, so good on you, Feddies. However, we do got a few downsides. Well, yeah, it's a fighter jet. All the fighter jet stuff, propulsions, ammo, doodads, don't do anything while in core block mode, adding useless weight to the mobile suit. It's also expensive. A fighter jet that can transform is gonna be pricier than ones that can't. Same deal with mobile suits. You're gonna have to make machines specifically made to utilize this system, which is gonna drive up price. And back to the core fighter, it's still a fighter and can be used as such, but it's gonna cost more than what it's worth if only used as a fighter. But as a positive side note, you can use the core block system as storage, allowing you to carry more core fighters than any other fighter. Now, the core fighter is attached to the Project V mobile suits, so we get plenty of screen time, and it shows up here and there in other sources. In the original anime, we get many scenes of the white base crew in just the fighter, which isn't anything special, but it's nice to see non-mobile suit machines being used once in a while. So this thing branches off and gets 2 upgrades, one in the OG anime and another in the trilogy movies. Starting with the TV run, we have the G parts, odd doohickeys that combine with the Gundam to form oddities. One is the G Sky, which looks like a core fighter with the B parts, giving it a large booster pack. We get better stats and more weapons, pretty cool overall. But if we look closely, you might notice the Gundam's crotch. And yes, this consists of the core fighter, the bottom half of the Gundam, and the B parts. Thankfully, we have the G Sky Easy, which just removes the Gundam legs. Still on the G parts, we have the G Fighter, a large fighter, better stats, better maneuverability, all that snazz, and more weapons like a beam cannon, so it can throw hands with mobile suits. All these can combine to form an even bigger fighter, the G Armor, with the Gundam snug in the middle. It also can make a tank, for some reason. And yes, this tank does consist of the top half of the Gundam. I've covered the G parts in their own video, check that out if you want more details on this abomination. Then, the trilogy version, we have the Core Booster. Similar idea, a back unit that enhances the core fighter in all departments, and even gives it beam weapons, vastly increasing its combat potential. This design would lead to the Jet Core Fighter, which is a permanent combination of the two. Now, the G Fighter, G Armor, and Core Booster were just upgrades to the Core Fighter to let it fight mobile suits. This was used by Salia so she could be involved in the battles, and it was also used for transportation, with them being big and strong enough to carry a mobile suit. But back to the core block system. The Federation didn't use it for most future machines. The GIM, their mass production machine of the 1-year war, would opt out. Even variants of the gun tank and gun cannon, like the mass produced version or the 2, wouldn't use it. While the eject function is great, it would make mobile suits more expensive. But eventually, as mobile suit technology evolved, so did cockpits, and things like the 360-degree panoramic cockpit would have an eject function, which would be a ball that could be shot out roughly around the chest. It's just eject functions are hit or miss. You are trying to eject most of the times from an exploding mobile suit, which isn't just a firework. And for things like combat data, this isn't as important on mass-produced machines piloted by Joe Schmoes. It's vital on a prototype, one-of-a-kind, super awesome machine that will change history, and that's why they have this feature. But again, not on cannon fodder that, let's be honest, we would be sent out in. But this would not be the end. While only on a very select few, the core block system would still kinda live on, but in different forms and for different reasons. The GPO-1 has a core fighter, the Core Fighter 2, exclusive to it, and as a side note, from here, this is the standard where the unique core fighter are exclusive to a single machine. This one has an odd connection with the front folding down and becoming most the upper body and chest, with the back half forming the backpack. It's something you have to visually see to understand, and it is a really cool concept, and I do appreciate that the upper part does cover the cockpit so he's just not out in the open with a glaring weak spot. It's just cool to see the core fighter make up a large portion of this torso. Now, I love this look. That fighter jet appearance is beautiful, easily one of the best looking core fighters. Moving to the GPO-1 upgrade, the FB, the core fighter also gets an upgrade. The large venue units on the back are now the wings to the fighter. It gets extra thrusters on the front, which helps it do this sick ass chest venue parry thing against the GPO-2. Cool as hell, and nice little detail there. It is a strange looking machine, just has a odd appearance to it. Still cool, love it, but weird. And as a side note, since the core fighter is in the midsection, the top half of the machine can undock, which will only come in handy in very specific scenarios. The Double Zeta can also do this, but he'll come up later. Moving back in time, we have the GPO-0 Blossom, which would also have a core block system, with theirs not being a core fighter, but a core booster. Same deal when it comes to docking, but the extra back unit acts as a back skirt when combined. And it also carries its huge ass beam gun. Cool. The Double Zeta has an interesting one, with its Neo Core Fighter. Like the OG, it's 3 units, top, bottom, and core fighter. But the bottom unit can combine in the back of the core fighter, kinda like the core booster, but with better stats and weapons. And the top unit can act as its own flyer with a cockpit in the nose, or it can be piloted from a core fighter attaching to the back. All 3 of these can combine, becoming the behemoth known as the G-Fortress, which can transform into the Double Zeta. Let's jump to late Universal Century Gundam Crossbone to look at the X-1's core fighter. And this one just has a simple shape to it. It has this long back part that kinda makes it look like the Minecraft squid. Anywho, it plugs into the back part opens up, forming an X-shaped backpack. Moving on. The Victory takes a nice spin. Like the Double Zeta, it's 3 units, the core fighter, the top and bottom limbs, but now the core fighter houses the torso and head. It can combine with either limbs and operate with just one. This allows it to purge and attach new limbs if damaged. The V2 is very similar, just more details and doodads. There is much more in Universal Century, like the Narrative Gundam. Very similar to the OG, just the core fighter honestly looks like a bat or pterodactyl dinosaur thing. I hope I'm not the only one that sees this. Anyways, these are just a few. If you'd like me to cover more in detail, tell me below. But let's highlight a few alternate universe core fighters, since they also make an appearance here and there. Heading to the first alternate universe, the Future Century, G Gundam, with easily one of the best core fighters, the Core Lander, a hover car that plugs into the back of the mobile fighter. Tight as hell, and while only having a short appearance, we all love this thing. Also, shoutouts to the G Gundam Cockpit that requires you to be butt-ass naked to operate. Oh yeah, back on topic, the Core Lander is found in most, if not all, mobile fighters. We just get little info, sometimes only a sketch of what the lander looks like. It's a shame, really. We have the Turn A's, with its fighter resting on Turn A's crotch, giving a new meaning to Cockpit. Then to Seed, we have a revamp of the OG with the Impulse. The core fighter and top and bottoms are all flyers, now making the transformation look not realistic but less goofy. The OG just had the top and bottom parts soaring in the air, making docking look like an insane circus stunt. And with the Impulse, yeah, still very crazy, but they tried to make it look like it's intended to do that. And while we haven't covered everything, you have noticed that most of the core fighters slot into the mobile suit's back. It's a solid design choice. In universe, it makes docking and ejecting look practical, and it feels like less can go wrong with something like this than the original Gundam's core fighter. I feel like under gravity, there's a lot that could happen. And out of universe, it just looks easier to animate and draw and to make model kits for. But on the other hand, who doesn't love the Double Zeta's transformation sequence? Now, there is more out there, some more interesting than others, some more unknown. But that's it for today. It's an odd, interesting concept in Gundam that we don't see often, but when we do, it gets us all giddy. Obviously, many core fighters are planes, it just makes sense in every way. But it's cool when they do something different. Anyways, if you want to see more core fighter talk, tell me down below. But with that, thank you for watching, and thanks for staying till the end. Like usual, have a good one, and hope to see you next time.